And MAGA is the reason, as they are going after him full force on social media. Now, if you missed it today, Donald Trump has come out on offense against the files, calling them a hoax like he normally does, but then asking Pam Bondi to investigate Bill Clinton and others and their relationship to Jeffrey. Well, MAGA is not having it, as they are going after him, calling him a fraud, asking if it's a hoax, what is there to investigate, and then reminding him that he campaigned on releasing the files. This is absolutely the worst case for Donald Trump, because the people who would always be loyal to him, no matter what happens, no matter how bad the economy gets, would be MAGA. But this appears to be a line that they cannot cross. Donald Trump changing his tune and calling them fools for believing it, but then asking for an investigation into it. Now, it should be noted, there is a chance that Trump is asking for an open investigation to prevent anything from being released, because the investigation would be active, but stay tuned.
Trump supporters are now calling for a U.S. citizen who graduated from UCLA to be deported because she said F Trump and F ICE in her graduation speech. Watch this.
Excuse my language, but to that I say fuck ICE and fuck the Trump administration.
And here's what Juanita Broderick had to say about the whole thing. She says, disgusting, deport her ass back to China. What happened to free speech? Aren't you guys the party of free speech? What happened to that? She then goes on to call Jamie a Chinese-American actress with a degree in hating America, but that's not her degree. She actually has a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies in Film, Television, and Digital Media. Nothing in there about hating America. Very interesting. So I guess this is where we're at now in America. Trump supporters who claim they love the Constitution are now calling for American citizens to be deported for exercising their First Amendment rights. In their little world, Trump is beyond criticism. Disagree with him? You're un-American. Call him out? You must be punished. Say something too loudly? Then you must be exiled to another country.
God, how do these MAGA people sleep at night? How do they sleep at night? To understand the political psychology going on, you gotta understand two things. First off, the left and the right view morality differently. The left sees morality in terms of outcomes and the effect on people. Universal healthcare is moral because universal healthcare would save tens of thousands of lives and a ton of bankruptcies. Morally good. For the right, morality is about what team you're on. Even if your actions have terrible consequences on other people, even if you're a terrible person, what matters is that you're on the good team. Just look at what it takes to get into the Christian heaven. It's just if you identify as Christian. That's why labels and identities carry so much moral weight. The other aspect about right-wing morality is if it makes them feel unsafe or uncomfortable, it's immoral. That's why being trans is immoral to them, because it makes them feel uncomfortable. And the second thing you need to understand is just because you self-reflect, just because you're considerate of the effect on other people, doesn't mean everyone else is. I've seen estimates that 40% of humans don't have an inner dialogue. Like, what? And there's a selection bias, because if you're the kind of person that thinks about the well-being of other people, you're probably not MAGA. And just think about the kind of person that loves Trump. Would you want to honestly look inward? Would you like what you see? Whether it's because people on the right deliberately, either subconsciously or consciously, avoid introspection, or because they lack the emotional abilities to self-reflect, as decades of research has shown, people on the right simply do not self-reflect as much.
Mark my fucking words, I say this today and I say this now. Whatever truth is about to be revealed regarding Donald Trump, including Donald Trump, surrounding Donald Trump, is way more sinister than anything that we could have ever imagined, than anything that we could have ever mustered, because the way that the Republican Party is going out of their way to make this grand spectacle, this grand public spectacle of trying to distance themselves from Donald Trump, oh baby, it's going down. And they're throwing that man under the bus. The results of Tuesday night's election shook up the Republican Party way more than they want to admit. Way more than they want to admit, to the point where the warnings don't even fucking matter anymore. They're literally going against Donald Trump. They're literally preparing to rebel against Donald Trump. But let's do a little backtracking real quick so you can understand exactly where I'm going with this, okay? Boom. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson starts the paper trail, right? So the Trump administration wanted it to make it legal to not give 42 million Americans their SNAP benefits. So they send it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court rules in favor of it. Ketanji Jackson is like, fuck that. Sends it to the fucking lower courts. Lower courts that are filled with appointed judges from the Biden and Obama administration. Keep that in mind. So now the judges from the lower courts are like, fuck that, we're not doing that. They actually ordered the Trump administration to give everybody their full SNAP benefits. So now the Trump administration is like, fuck, these motherfuckers is making it harder for us. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson also makes it known that the contingency fund, the $5 billion in that contingency fund is gone. It's gone. Where is it? Due to the executive branch, it's gone. Thus setting up the paper trail. Sets up the paper trail, all this back and forth. And in the paper trail is information regarding that the contingency fund and the money in it is gone. Keep that in mind. So now, boom, Tuesday night elections run around. The results, unanimous, every single election. Democrat, blue. The Republicans are feeling it. They fucking feeling it. We heard the fucking warnings. We saw. You understand it? Like, listen, we got to get a hold over this shit. Because if we let them get it, if we let them have these midterms, we're fucked. We're going to jail. Mike Johnson even gave a fucking warning. He said, we cannot let the Democrats take this. If they take it, they are going to end the Trump administration. They're going to end it. They're not going to let that man run his full term. You damn Skippy. Now, if y'all didn't already know, I'm putting you on. There's a Project 2025 tracker that literally shows you the progress of this fucking movement, of this fucking demise to America. You understand? And right now it's at 48%, which means the Republicans were working hard. So far, it's been stagnant. But it'll make sense why it's stagnant once I give you all this information. Okay, boom. Despite Project 2025 being almost at 50% completion, even though these Republicans issued out their little warnings, they've already picked their side. They've already decided they're throwing Donald Trump under the bus. Because after Tuesday night's election results, did you guys know that the Senate voted and passed to strip Donald Trump of his power on imposing tariffs? The vote was 51 yay and 47 nay. This week it's revealed to us that Speaker Mike Johnson is actually the person that's going to be leading the vote with 100 plus Republicans, seniors too, enforcing the DOJ in releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files after a portion of the emails have been, you understand, made public and they've seen that Donald Trump's names is in that shit. Earlier this week, right, Donald Trump makes an appearance at the NFL games, the Washington Commanders. He's not even able to give his speech. He is booed the entire time. The entire stadium is booing him. And here's the ironic thing about it. The Washington Commanders used to be known as the Redskins. It was a stadium filled with Redskins booing Donald Trump, their Republican president. And this is what I mean by there is a outpouring display of all the Republicans literally turning their backs on Donald Trump right now, which means whatever truth that is about to be revealed surrounding that man is absolutely sinister. And don't you think for a second that any of these other fucking Republicans that were working under him are innocent. Some of you Democrats too. And because I wanted to give you guys a little treat, I'm going to insert the clip right here, a little part of them literally booing this man. Here you go.
I am saying your name.
All right, it is Friday morning, and the President of the United States is wasting precious political capital talking about Epstein, not about affordability or about Russia's invasion of Ukraine or about the tariff war that he started against essentially every single country on the globe, except for Russia and North Korea for some reason. No. He's defending himself from even more Epstein allegations. This time, it's not even allegations coming from a third party. These are emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself, each email more damning than the last, showing that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were not only friends, as we knew, not only did they go to parties together and point at women and laugh and, joke about how they like women a little bit younger. Surprise, surprise, it goes deeper than that. Surprise, surprise, Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's deepest, darkest proclivities the entire time. The actual rape of young girls that he was perpetuating en masse, it seems like, and I guess you can call it a network of both blackmail and trafficking that was going on through Jeffrey Epstein. All of this is to say, Donald Trump is spending his Friday morning talking about this, defending himself from this, rather than focusing on any of the important issues. Just a few days ago, we had the FBI Director Kash Patel We had Pam Bondi from the DOJ. We had all of the most important officials who should be solving and preventing crime, preventing terrorist attacks, fighting our enemies both abroad and finding spies domestically. The FBI has more important shit to do, but they're still protecting Trump from Epstein. At the same time, we see MAGA supporters beginning to turn on Trump. Listen to friend of the show, Aaron Parnas, breaking this down.
We have some big news right now. Donald Trump is facing major backlash from MAGA base this morning on Truth Social after waking up and posting that the Jeffrey Epstein files are a hoax. His first post in over 24 hours as the White House remains effectively frozen, and there are more Republicans on Capitol Hill coming out saying that they'll vote to release the files. Now Andy Biggs says he'll do it, and more. But I pulled these comments from under Donald Trump's post this morning. Just release it all, Trump. You effing ran on that. You're losing the base. You're a con man, and all these idiots who believe you are just that, idiots. Not guilty people don't have meltdowns over hoaxes. Release the files. Donald Trump is guilty, and if you deny the actual evidence, then you're just blind to the truth. These are comments directly pulled from Donald Trump's post on his Truth Social account. Those within his own base, within his own party, are rebuking him. And he's trying to run from it, but he can't get away from it.
You know, we're going to break this down a little bit more in 1 second. I want to go to the actual comments of his post. But first, let's read what he said. He said, quote, "The Democrats are doing everything in their withering power to push the Epstein hoax again. Already we can debunk this. This came from the Epstein estate itself. Jeffrey Epstein's estate released not only a bunch of documents and emails and the book, but they released them to the House Oversight Committee. The House Oversight Committee then released it even further. In fact, I would say that the Republicans are doing everything in their withering power to prevent the Epstein files from being released. They voted over and over and over for them not to be released." Donald Trump then says, "Despite the DOJ releasing 50,000 pages of documents in order to deflect from all of their bad policies and losses, especially the shutdown embarrassment where their party is in total disarray and has no idea what to do, some weak Republicans have fallen into their clutches because they are soft and foolish. Epstein was a Democrat, and he is the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem." Just the pivoting here is insane. This is actually a desperate attempt from Trump to control the narrative, which honestly he's usually pretty good at. Just to be 100% honest, like Trump is usually pretty good at grabbing some narrative out of thin air and talking about it so much that the average American doesn't know who to believe. But this right here is a desperate attempt to spin the narrative, and it's so see-through. He's trying to spin back to the shutdown. He would so very much so love it to be 1 week ago when the Democrats were all talking about the shutdown, because now he's lost control of the narrative. And by the way, this shutdown is likely going to work out in Democrats' favor as well. The ACA subsidies, the healthcare subsidies, are still set to expire in roughly 1 month. When those subsidies expire, who will Americans blame it on? The current administration that's in power that was fighting against them, or the Democrats who at least tried to do something? They tried to do something. I have a friend whose mom is reliant on the healthcare subsidies provided, and she didn't really know that. She didn't understand that until the fight happened. And then she's been paying attention. She's been paying very close attention. She's going to be paying attention when Republicans vote no next month, and she's going to know exactly who to blame. So just to go back to Trump's post, it is a desperate attempt at narrative control, and the people in the comments can realize that. I mean, let me just finish reading this. So let me just to recap. He says, "The Democrats are doing everything."
MAGA, look, listen up. When Trump said he was against DEI, did you think that he meant that he was going to step into Monica Lewinsky's role on that big, beautiful bill? Is that the interpretation that you got? And if it is, then I want you to start doing it too. MAGA, stand up. Be with your dear precious leader. Find you a bill to be big and beautiful for you. Because I'm telling you right now, the people that are the most homophobic usually be up in that closet picking out shirts and shoes, all right? I'm just trying to tell you that Trump was against Monica the whole time. Political and personal. They had beef both ways. I didn't know that they were sharing a sin noodle, all right? I didn't know y'all know the Spider-Man meme where they're all looking at each other? That's Trump, Monica, and Hillary all together. They're like, who doing it? Who doing it? Who doing it? Yeah, when Trump said he was bringing jobs back, you didn't know that it was blowjobs, did you? You didn't know that? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so look, again, if you're going to continue to be MAGA, then you should understand that at some point you're going to have to navigate these Epstein files in a way that you might not like. So you can join us in the comrades and call out the Republicans and the Democrats and know that all of what they got going on, all of the ruling class is bullshit, and we should put in working class folks for working class policies for working class people. We should put in people that care about health care. They're not concerned about your health care. They're not concerned about your retirement. They're not concerned about whether or not your kids get fed. They don't care one lick. They just over there blowing bills. Literally blowing bills.
So this video is likely going to get me banned because I'm going to go into as much as I can in graphic detail as a former forensic nurse practitioner, given what's going on with the whole Epstein case. Because a lot of people don't see the back end of the medical piece, right? Like, you guys see the testimony, you read the articles, you watch video stitches, but what really happened medically? So I used to work in forensics, and it's some heavy work, and I may dissociate by looking over here instead of the camera, so I'm going to apologize just because I have to recall all of the horrific things I saw. But at the time, there were 16 practitioners, and if every practitioner sees about 20,000 patients, that means that the clinic had close to 300,000 people who were physically and sexually assaulted. We saw children as young as like newborn age due to shaken baby syndrome and whatnot, all the way to like 26, you know. And it's crazy the number of like teenagers that would come. And this is what happens. Literally, if we know about it, okay, if they come forth, because you know most victims do not come forth, okay, if they come forth, they're usually brought in by police. And it could be in the middle of the night because it was a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour clinic. And the reason why it's 24/7 is because you cannot take a shower if you're a victim of rape, because you will wash away all of that forensic data. So you can imagine your offenders come all over your body, you're sticky, you're cold, and it's 2 or 3 in the morning, and police officers are bringing you in to this clinic. As much as we try to paint the walls and whatnot, it's the basement of the hospital, okay? It's not a pretty sight. 12 bedrooms, sterile doors that are like really super heavy because it used to be a radiology facility. And you wait for a provider to be available. Like I said, each provider saw about 20,000 patients. That's how many rape and physical child abuse cases we received per year. And that's devastating. And so you're waiting in this room, sitting on a chair, told you can't shower, told you can't pee, okay, because we need to collect the data. When the provider's there, then they bring you into the room, and then there is a grape test. And if you ladies think a pap smear is uncomfortable, holy shit. Okay, like the stuff that is collected. All right. And then you stand before this provider, okay, still covered in the stickiness of this man's cum. We strip you naked, and we have to start taking pictures. We have to take pictures of any markings, any bruises, any, lacerations, burns to the body. Sadly, we even have to, when I say markings, I'm talking about handcuffs. I'm talking about rope marks. I'm talking about chains. Yeah. And then we have to measure them. And then make sure we locate where on the body we saw what. And that goes into a report that goes to the district attorney. Okay? And, of course, then the woman or child, because I saw kids as young as 12 and 14, even 8 months old, they are allowed to now finally shower. We give them a clean pair of underwear, a sweatshirt, and sweatpants and socks that are, by the way, not brand new. They're donated. Okay? It was donation based. They get this and they shower. And then they have to go to another cold and sterile room where we interview them. And so they have to relive the horrific experience of their rapist. Not just once, that's just that night, right? But no matter how much you shower, you will never shower away the ick of that man's cum on your body. And yeah, that was my experience as a forensic nurse practitioner 11 years ago. And that is the experience of somebody who has to go into one of these sterile places. And I would say that America is not mad enough. MAGA is not mad enough. Okay? It is a terrible, horrific experience for everybody involved, but especially the victim.
Okay. You want to know what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. The revelations from the Epstein estate are going to keep coming out. And yes, they will provide irrefutable proof that the head dipshit in charge was in fact in cahoots with Epstein all along. And it will also show that this isn't just about politics. It wasn't just about one pedo ring. It's about how this one pedo ring worked its way all around the world. And yeah, we are talking about governments, the tippy top of government all around the world, but more than that, how this type of crime has worked its way into every facet of life in America and around the world. Yes, every organization, police, churches, businesses, everything was infiltrated by this corruption. And it will all be revealed, all of it, in such a way, such a dramatic, obvious way that it can no longer be hidden or swept under the rug, that the world will know. And then it will be eradicated. I know this not only because, well, the writing is on the wall at this point, but I'm a psychic medium and a channeler, and I have been predicting this for a year. You may have already seen me talk about this in particular, and everything else it's about to unravel. I've talked about this worldwide web of corruption that Spirit showed me, and more specifically that Spirit showed would be revealed and eradicated. These emails are just the tip of the iceberg. Because you see, as the revelations keep on coming, and as the rats continue to jump ship, I've been told that loose lips sink ships. I've been shown a hall of whistleblowers, people starting to spill the tea to keep themselves from going down in a desperate attempt to escape the justice that is coming. I have also been shown the old-timey police wagon rolling on up to the Capitol to take this entire administration down. Because not only are they a bunch of shitty motherfuckers and corrupt as hell, but remember last November and Elon being so great with his vote counting computers? Yeah, the math did not math. He was not the rightful winner. She was. And yes, we are going to see a resurgence of her. Now listen, I don't know how, and I don't know when, but what I can tell you is, she and many others will step forward to create councils to see us through this transition, this time of being without a president, without a government, with everything falling down in the rubble around us, honestly. It's going to be a bit ugly, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable, but I have been shown the new. Not only have I been shown the new, but long before I started talking about politics, the new is very specifically what I, as a psychic medium and a channeler, have been tapped into. Yes, I mean the new earth, the 5D new consciousness, a world where we create not only systems, but communities. Every facet of life is actually recreated anew to support all of life, where everybody thrives. But that new earth wasn't possible until the old structures crumbled. And that crumbling was not possible until we had a revelation of all that had been happening. And that revelation is not just about the particular names, the particular people, what shady shit they were up to, but it's about the type of systems that create the type of wounds that exist in all of us for all of our lifetimes here, those karmic stains that we have incarnated with to clear. And so as we have had this absolute shit show of a government this year, crashing their way through DC and beyond, we've had a revelation, not only of the corruption, but the systemic oppression that is present in every level of American society. And as we've had a revelation of that, we've had an opportunity as individuals and as a collective to reckon with the shadows of the past. Some of this, it's the far past in past lifetimes, say the karmic stains of slavery or colonialism. For others, it's the recent past or even the present, the ways that systemic oppression still exist today, racism, misogyny, bigotry, all of it. Because they've been behaving in ways that we can't ignore. Yeah. And as that has happened, it has pushed our wounds up to the surface. That's what I've been doing this past year. I've been leading healing circles. I've been leading these psychic preview events to help people cope with what they're seeing, knowing that it's not just about the fear of what's happening now, but it is clearing our karmic stain as individuals, as a nation, as an entire species. And I have been assured by Spirit that when that process reached a certain point, when enough of us have done enough of the work, when enough of us are out of our victimhood, healed from those pains, and standing fully in our power, we would fight for justice. We would become the spiritual activists that we needed to be. And most importantly, our hearts would be broken and opened to each other. We would then become the change. And when that energy of change, of community, of love, selfless service, when that energy spread across the land, when that energy became dominant, only then would that trigger the final shift. And that final shift has happened. It is locked in. And that is why now it is time for the rapid implosion of the old, for all the corruption to be revealed, for justice to be served. We will see a rapid implosion, and it's going to get chaotic and it's going to get messy, but I want you to hold on to hope that it is not falling apart to crumble into dust, into nothing, but that it is all finally being removed so that the new can take its place. Because we haven't just been healing from the past, we've been creating the new. We've been seeding our hopes and dreams. We've been making our demands of the universe. For as we have been healed, we are rising in our personal power. We are rising as co-creators of leaders in this new earth. And so as we see the collapse, as we see the crumbling, we will also simultaneously see the rebuilding. And this will be a time unlike anything that has ever come before. And you get a front row seat. You are here now to not only see it happen, but to create it, to receive it for yourself. So do not fear the crumbling. You were born for this moment. It's all going to fall apart, and then it's all going to be rebuilt. And life will never be the same again in the best possible way. That's what's going to happen next.